Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today guys we're going to be reviewing Mafia Definitive Edition. Alright, so without further ado, let's just go ahead and review this game, shall we? So this is the first time I'm doing any reviews, so if this sounds a little bit all over the place, I'm sorry. I felt like this game honestly deserved a review because it was great, man. I gotta review this game. I just have to. So Mafia Definitive Edition is a remake, complete brand new remake of the original Mafia game, which came out in 2002, I believe. So yeah, this game is an exact remake of what happened in that game. You know, the story I believe is the same. Missions are pretty much exactly the same. Everything plays out exactly the same like it did in the original. Alright, so I'm gonna be starting off this review by talking about the characters in the game. Alright, so just like the original, our main character in this game is Tommy Angelo, who is a cab driver, which is then recruited into the Mafia by Don Salieri and his boys, Sam and Paulie. So at the beginning of the game, just like in the original, Tom is found by Sam and Paulie, and he is held at gunpoint and forced to drive them away from the opposing gang, which is Morello's gang. So our main character is Tommy Angelo, and our side characters in this game, Sam and Paulie, and also Don Salieri, which we see the most. There's also other characters in this game like Sarah, who becomes Tommy's girlfriend and wife, and we're gonna talk about that in a bit. And there's also Frank, and of course Don Morello himself. Now, I really love Tommy in this game. I think Tommy was an amazing, fantastic, just great. I can't even describe it, man. He's just so good. He felt so badass in a time where things weren't that badass. You know what I mean? I don't know how Hangar 13 managed to pull this off, but they managed to take a guy, a regular cab driver, a regular taxi driver, and turn him into probably one of the most badass characters that I've ever played as in any video game before. And the side characters are amazing. They are freaking fantastic as their roles. Sam and Paulie, you know, they're the buddies in the game. They're your best friends. They do a great job, you know, portraying that, you know, your best friend. Then we got Don Salieri, who does a great job as like, hey, I'm the boss. Don't mess with me. Alright, don't mess with me. Just do what I tell you to do. Get things done when I tell you to get them done, and we're gonna have no problems. Don Salieri does a great job at playing that role. Frank, who is Don Salieri's best friend, he's like the, I guess, accountant of the Mafia. I don't know what he was really, but he was also a good character, good side character. Some things happen on later in the game which really make you feel for Frank, and I thought that was pretty cool. I thought that was great. Sarah, let's talk about Sarah for a second. I gotta give a round of applause to Hangar 13 because what they did with Sarah and Tommy, with such little screen time with the both of them, probably maybe 30 minutes in total throughout the whole game, I was like, wow, man, this is actually a really good, you know, love story. I don't know how they managed to pull that off in a, you know, 14-hour long game, but they did. You know, they did. The story, well, just like I said at the beginning of this review, the story is exactly the same as the original. You know, Tommy is recruited into the Mafia. He's then doing jobs for Don Salieri, taking people out, doing whatever the Don asks him to. Later on in the game, where we face betrayals from people in the Mafia, in our crew, and we gotta deal with a lot of betrayals. We gotta deal with Tommy not following orders, which will eventually get him into a lot of trouble. And overall, man, the story is just great. I mean, what happens at the end of the game, I'm not gonna spoil it because I have a whole walkthrough of the game, and if you want to go watch that, there is a playlist on the channel. You can go ahead and watch any of those videos. But I mean, what happens at the end of the game was just, honestly, it left me in shock. Wow, man, I was just completely like broken at the end of the game, you know. The game was just it was like a ride of, it was like a emotional roller coaster, you know. There's times in the game where you're gonna be like, oh yeah, that was awesome, man, yeah, I like that. And then there's times in the game where you're gonna be like, oh, I'm mad now, you know, like, oh, I'm about to get this guy, you know, I'm about to kill this mofo. And there's times in the game where it's like, damn, you know, it's like, wow, that just really happened, huh? You know, there's times in the game where there's so many events in this game, I can't even explain how good it is and how sad it is and how frustrating it can be. But yes, let's talk about replay value now. So the game doesn't really have that much replay value. What you're watching right now is me playing the game after I've already completed the story. This is the quote-unquote free roam. There isn't really much to do besides literally drive around, and that's about it. Drive around, shoot guns. It's not like crazy story free roam like GTA games or other games. This game doesn't have like side quests after you beat the game. It doesn't have, I mean, you can find collectibles if that's what you want to do. That's about it. You can replay the story, the missions, the chapters. Something else you can do right there. Yeah. Like I said, this game doesn't really have a good replay value. So once you beat the game, that's pretty much, you either replay the game again or you just do nothing. Pretty much, yeah. Let's talk about the music in this game. So the music I didn't really pay attention to too much in terms of like the in-game radio music, because most of the time if I let that play, I would probably get a copyright claim on one of my videos, which I did many times. So I couldn't really pay that much attention to the in-game music on the radio, but I will talk about the music that happens during cutscenes, music that happens during missions. That music is actually really pretty good, man. You know, it fits in very well with the mission. For example, if you're like doing a mission where you gotta take someone out, you're gonna get like a really intense, you know, fast-paced, crime-themed, you know, soundtrack in the background playing, you know. And I think that fits pretty well with the game. And I was like, I actually like that, man. I think that's pretty cool, you know. The music during cutscenes is probably the greatest. It's probably just so touching, man. You know, there's this one song on the soundtrack itself of the game. It's called Sarah's Theme, and man, I cannot tell you how much I love that theme so much. I mean, I've probably listened to it maybe 3 times now. I mean, it's just so touching and powerful. I mean, I don't know who made the soundtrack itself, but whoever did, hats off to you. You are a genius, a brilliant piece of work. Yes, piece of art. So yeah, let's move on to the probably my favorite scene in the whole game, which I gotta say is just insane how they were able to pull this off. I mean, this scene is probably my favorite scene in any video game I've ever played. So about halfway into the game, Tommy does a job with Sam and Polly, but the job goes wrong and Tommy is forced to kill a bunch of cops. He's forced to kill a bunch of gang members. He's just forced to kill so many people in this mission. And when he goes to see Sarah at the end of the mission, you can just see that Tommy is so broken. He is just so not accustomed to this new life that he is being forced to live, you know, because once you're in the mafia, it's a really scary thing. You know, it's not something you want to be doing for the rest of your life. You know, you think it's fun at first, but then once you get accustomed to the true horrors of it, you're gonna be like, wow, man. And I think this scene does a great job of showing the true horror that Tommy has to deal with since he's joined the mafia. And I cannot, man, I just cannot get over how brilliant this scene is. I mean, I'll show you guys the scene itself. And man, this scene is so good, dude. So good.
Work. Marry me.
Okay.
So yeah, that was probably my favorite scene in any video game that I've ever played before. I'm gonna wrap up the review right here, you guys. Overall, I'd probably give this game a solid 7.5 out of 10. I'd probably give it a 7.5 out of 10. The only thing that probably holds it back from reaching a higher number is just at some parts I felt like the game was rushed, and some parts I felt could have been changed or added to, like the replay value, how there is pretty much no replay value after you beat the game. I feel like stuff like that holds it back from reaching a full, 10. But yeah, 7.5 is gonna do it for me. I'd say go pick this game up if you haven't. Give it a try. I'm probably gonna play the original Mafia if it even functions well, because it is an older game. So yeah, anyways, thank you all for watching this review. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure you guys go ahead and smash that like button, and I will see you guys in the next one. Alright, take it easy, my friends. Peace.